Hey guys, Black Screen X coming at you with a webtastic review. As you can see, today we're going to be looking at Beast Wars Deluxe Class Tarantulas. This guy, in my mind, back from the show, he was basically the mad scientist of the Predacons. Reason why I say that, he's always coming out with crazy things to use against the Maximals, especially in the episode The Web. He had a machine that was connected to a web that he spun, which he had Cheetor hanging on the web. Basically the web was just sucking out all his vital juices and everything, and basically just turning Cheetor to scrap. Slowly but painfully, which is why I also refer to him as the mad scientist. He was always doing something, always had some kind of crazy gizmo that would be either deadly or just render you unconscious for a little bit. But anyway, taking a look at the figure himself, as you can see, I actually have him hanging from the backdrop right now. I do like the colors. Granted, let's take a closer look at him. Now, the colors are actually pretty decent for the figure in the Tarantula mode. It showcases a lot of the purples that he had, the yellow going around his thorax, his black legs. Now, the only thing that I'm not too crazy about in Beast mode is his pincer thingy, whatever, I don't even know the technical word, but you know what I'm trying to say. This isn't exactly entirely show accurate as far as the front of him goes. These guys, they were here, but they were a little bit more longer. They were more like kind of extra legs, if you will. But they weren't as long as his legs, but they looked like extra legs. Aside from that, the face, it actually didn't really look like that. He had his green eyes, which I'm not too crazy about either, but I mean, I still like the figure in itself. I think first, between this figure and the Black Arachnia figure that we have gotten in Beast Wars line, I think this one actually plays off the mold a lot better. Another thing I'm not too crazy about, of course, saying that he is a bug bot. It's kind of hard to hide a lot of the robot kibble. Yeah, you can see a lot of it. You see his arms, you see his legs over here, his feet, and not only just that, but you also do see his head poking through right over here. But aside from that, I mean, looking at it from this view, it's actually a pretty good figure. I like it. He does also come with, you probably can't really see it all that well, but let me just do that. There you go. Comes with a string which is attached to this hook guy. So I mean, if you're looking to display him in spider mode, you could always hang him, and I mean, that'll be a nice way to display him. So I like the fact that they did include the string connected with this guy, but that's also going to be his main missile. But you'll see that later on in the transformation. So, speaking of which, let's get this guy terrorized. So, gonna start off, as with a lot of my videos go, starting off with the legs. As you can see, they are you see where they are. They're right over here and over here. So, gonna be taking the legs, just pulling them out, and basically you can see that it just folds up real nicely in there. Pulling it out, straightening it out. Going to do the same thing with the other leg. Pull that out and straighten it out. And then with that happening, over here, this is where his foot is basically going to be. So just going to take that and just open it up just like a crab claw. Open the other one up, and we have his legs all fully transformed. And keeping true to Beast Wars transformations, we're almost there. We are 80% of the way there. Like I've been saying in my past reviews, a lot of Beast Wars transformations are actually pretty easy, which I like. I mean, I like easy transformations. At the same time, I enjoy the occasional complicated transformation. I like the occasional wanting to bash my head through a wall because I can't try to get a Transformer transformed 100%. But not gonna talk about that just yet. We'll get to one of those reviews later on, much later on actually. But come back to the figure here. You can see that over here is where his arms are going to be. So to get there, to get his arms, basically gonna just untab them, bring that down. Now you can see how there's a peg right over here, and there's two holes right over here on his, right by the spider legs. So basically those holes are actually going to peg right into there. It's actually going to be the bottom hole here, top hole if you're looking at it from this way. So going to take that, pull that out, and then just swing it right over out on from this hinge over here. So just going to swing that out, do the same over here, swing that out, and then one step left, going to take the spider head and just fold that down right over the head and just peg that right into place. And as you can see, we have Tarantulas fully transformed in robot mode. I love this guy. Still lacks a lot of the color applications that he could have had, but I mean, little bit of paint, especially like right on the head, a little bit of paint that will fix it big time. Might just do that one day, just not yet, because I don't trust myself all that well with the paintbrush, just not yet. But here he is in robot mode. As you can see, he does keep a lot of the same colors from the show. I'm not too crazy, once again, about over here where his stomach is. Well, sorry, over here where his stomach is. I'm not too crazy about that because of the fact that those should be actually green. The eyes from the spider should be green. He does lack a few paint apps from the show, but I'm not going to complain too much about it. Going into his weapon, we do have this guy, but you're probably wondering where the launcher is for this. So, taking him, turn him all the way around, and you can see how there is a nice cutout, like of a figure 8 kind of deal. So, there's a little peg right over here. Just going to take that, pull it right on out, and here is his blaster. So, going to take that, and in his hands, he's got a hole right here, and the peg, like I keep on saying, peg, hole, you know what to do. Just going to plug that right in there. Now, you can take this grappling hook, missile, whatever you want to call it, you can take that and then just plug it right into the blaster itself. There we go. Almost there. There. There we go. You can take that and just plug it right in to the blaster. But if you don't want to do that, if you want to keep it stored in the back, you can. There are other options that you can do as far as the missile that plugs into the blaster. So basically what you would want to do is, you see he has 4 spider legs on each arm, 2 of which are stationary and 2 of which are mobile. Just going to take off one of the mobile ones, and that becomes another missile. So basically this guy comes with 4 missiles plus his grappling hook thing, which I like. Kind of gives it a little bit more play value to it, but for a figure that's almost 20 years old, I doubt that you're going to really want to use it as a toy. You're going to want to showcase it, going to want to display it properly. On a scale of 1 to 10, I actually like this figure. It's going to be maybe around an 8. Reason why it's not a full 10 is because of the fact that, as I said, lack of paint. The head could have been completely painted out. It could have been looking better. But like I said, if you're into customizing and if you're into painting, you could take this head, you could make it into a fantastic head. As far as articulation goes for the figure, due to the transformation, his legs do go back and forth and everything. They go all around. It's your standard ball joint right there at the hip. As far as the knee goes back, forth. I mean, he's got a lot of flexibility as far as posing goes. His feet, there's really not much going on there. I mean, I guess you could do that, but it would look kind of retarded, I guess. And for his shoulders, right up here, just like the legs, standard ball joint right there, so it goes all up, down, all around. You know, you could do the Y, you could do like the YMCA. So you got the Y, then you got the M. Yeah, he could do the YMCA dance, no problem. So he's got that under his belt. As far as his hand goes, you have your wrist articulation, I suppose. I guess that's a wrist. I don't know much about spiders, but yeah, that looks like a wrist to me. And also, as far as his head, also is on a ball joint, so you can move it forward, you can do it backward, to the left, to the right. And I mean, that's basically it for articulation goes. He's a great figure. I do recommend picking him up. Granted, I do have a rule when it comes down to collecting. That rule is I hate repaints, but for it being a show cast character, I'm not gonna be going towards my rule, because if you're a fan of the Beast Wars, you gotta have him, you gotta have Black Arachnia, you gotta have both of them. So I recommend picking him up. I'm really not too sure as far as how much he goes for on eBay, but pick him up. You won't be disappointed, I promise you. One last thing. Move them over there to the side for the classic Seeker Mold size comparison. Yes, I keep on picking the classic Seeker Mold. Why? It's a figure that I'm sure everybody has. It's a figure that everybody is familiar with in one repaint or another. So, I'm going to stand them up right there next to Starscream. They're about the same height, so I mean, they're pretty good as far as the height goes. Now, just one more thing I wanted to touch on. As far as the Beast Wars go, in comparison to the Generation 1 series, if you remember correctly from, I want to say it was Season 3 when the Maximals discovered the Autobots arc, there was a huge size difference between the Maximals and the Autobots. And you can see that especially during the one scene where Optimus Primal was basically face to face with Optimus Prime himself. And Optimus Prime basically looked like a giant compared to Primal. But if you're really into size comparison, yeah, this really isn't the best two things to display next to each other. So I would stay away from mixing and matching your displays. But anyway, just gonna take him, put him over to the side. Like I said, I recommend getting this figure. He's a great figure. But this has been Blackstream X. If you liked what you saw, please be sure to rate it thumbs up, subscribe, because I will be having more reviews coming at you real soon. You guys have a good day.